I do want to address the biggest topic in boxing this week. And it's a topic that I think can still develop into one of the biggest stories that we've talked about in boxing in quite some time. What I'm talking about is the controversial stoppage last weekend in the fight between Vergil Ortiz and Frederick Lawson. If you missed that fight this past weekend, Vergil Ortiz, young, undefeated, rising star, coming off a long layoff. He was taking a comeback fight against Frederick Lawson, unknown fighter, few losses on his resume. He was just there to hopefully give Vergil a few rounds and then eventually go down and Vergil could build on that win. It didn't last one round, and it was controversial at the time because Tony Weeks, the referee, stepped in when it didn't look like Lawson was all that hurt. You know, if you watched the fight, you knew that Frederick Lawson, sooner rather than later, was going to go down. But in that moment, when Tony Weeks stopped the fight, it looked suspicious, or at least it looked questionable. And because it was Tony Weeks, we started to think about what happened last year in the Rolando Romero-Ishmael Barroso fight, where Tony Weeks stopped that fight way too early when Barroso was still very much, in the fight, on his feet, winning the fight. And Tony looked like he misjudged the shots that were being thrown by Rolly Romero, stopped that fight, took a lot of heat for that stoppage as well. So that was a bad stoppage. It received criticism at that time. A couple of days later, this story took a major twist. That's because Tony Weeks went onto his Facebook page and posted the following. What the public didn't know, that prior to the fight, they did a brain scan on him being Lawson, and it came up that he had an aneurysm. And they did a test again, and the same aneurysm came up. Another doctor was brought in and gave him the same examination, and he tested negative for the aneurysm, so they cleared him to fight. These are, in no uncertain terms, explosive allegations by one of the most well-known officials in the state of Nevada. Tony Weeks is someone that, even if you are a casual boxing fan, if you see him, you recognize him. He was in the most recent Creed movie. That's how recognizable Tony Weeks is as a boxing referee. When you think of boxing referees, one of the ones you think of is Tony Weeks. So for Tony Weeks, a decades-long referee, a decorated referee, to make these kind of allegations, it was shocking. There's no other word to use, but it was shocking. So in the immediate aftermath, Golden Boy Promotions, which promoted the event, put out a statement saying that Frederick Lawson was cleared by a Nevada State Athletic Commission neurologist. The next day, the Nevada Commission put out a statement that said, quote, on January 6th, 2024, a contest was held between Vergil Ortiz and Frederick Lawson in Las Vegas, Nevada. The contest was under the jurisdiction of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The health and safety of the unarmed combatants that compete in the state are paramount to the commission. All contestants in the event were subject to full medical examinations and were cleared by medical experts to compete without restrictions. The commission and its executive director will continue its ongoing practice of reviewing its official performance during and after the event. So, what Golden Boy said in a couple of sentences mirror what the Nevada Commission said in like 4 sentences, a full paragraph, basically. What neither of those statements addressed were the specific allegations that were made by Tony Weeks. What Tony Weeks alleged, it was twofold. One, he alleged that twice during brain scans prior to the fight, Frederick Lawson had an aneurysm show up on those brain scans. An aneurysm. That's as serious as it gets when it comes to finding something on the brain that is about to get hit in a boxing ring. That's number one. The second part about this, which I don't think gets talked about enough, another doctor was brought in. So what Tony Weeks is alleging is that the Nevada Commission went doctor shopping, that they went out and found a doctor to give Frederick Lawson an exam, and that doctor ultimately cleared him. Now, look, like you, my initial reaction was there is no way that the Nevada Commission would go along with this. Like, this was not a mega event. Not that they should do it anyway, but if you were going to skirt medical protocol, you probably don't do it for Virgil Ortiz against Frederick Lawson in early January. That was my first reaction to all this. But the statement was a nothing burger. That was boilerplate, PR vetted, straight nothing. It told us nothing specific, and it did not specifically address the allegations that were made by Tony Weeks. This cannot be the only rebuttal, the only answer that the Nevada Commission has to these allegations. This is way too serious. This is a respected, longtime referee who has been part of the Nevada Athletic Commission for decades, making explosive allegations that they put the life of a fighter in danger. What Tony Weeks is effectively saying is that he knew it, and that's why he stopped the fight as quickly as he did. That needs an investigation. That needs a thorough airing out of the facts at a bare minimum. Now, if this was just if this was somebody on social media, or if this was an unverified source, I probably wouldn't give it the kind of credence I'm giving it now, opening this show with it, talking to you about it on YouTube. But this is Tony Weeks. I can't think of what motivation Tony Weeks would have to put out a statement like this. What Tony Weeks did with this statement was commit career suicide. Tony Weeks will never referee again. He will certainly never referee in Nevada, and I'd be surprised if he referees anywhere ever again. What he did was accuse his effective employers of illegal activity. Activity that, look, some boxing lawyers have said to me that if the Nevada Commission actually did this, then the commission itself would have to be disbanded. Everyone would have to be fired because this is this serious an allegation. So we are now a few days removed from all this. We have the statement from Golden Boy, and we have the boilerplate statement from the Nevada Commission. That's not sufficient. People want to put some blame on Golden Boy. I think it's more on the Nevada Commission because they are responsible for licensing these fighters. They are the commission that allows these fighters to get into the ring and gives them the bill of health that they need to get into the ring. The Nevada Commission, Jeff Mullen, all the people in charge there have to be more accountable than how they have been up until this point. The accountability they have shown is unacceptable. Repeat, the accountability they have shown is unacceptable. They need to produce evidence. They need to show that Frederick Lawson had clean brain scans. Now, look, I know there's going to be some hiding behind HIPAA laws and medical privacy and all that. But Tony Weeks made an allegation that is incredibly serious, and the Nevada Commission cannot just dismiss it with a boilerplate, lawyer-approved statement that told us nothing. They told us the exact same thing that Golden Boy told us. They told us that Frederick Lawson was approved to fight. That is not what Tony Weeks is accusing them of. Tony Weeks is accusing them of having 2 brain scans that showed an aneurysm. He is accusing them of bringing in another doctor to give them another brain scan that showed no aneurysm. So these types of things need to be addressed. And if they're not addressed, they should not be swept under the rug. They should not be let go. This is the lives of fighters we're talking about. This is life and death that we're talking about. It cannot just be dismissed as, well, the Nevada Commission said it didn't happen, so we should all just move along. Doesn't work that way. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed with specifics. And until then, we simply can't overlook it. So we're going to be talking about this in the weeks and months ahead as this show goes forward, because I don't think it should be let go as quickly as maybe some people want to see it let go.